Let's go. Go, 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 go. Let's go, 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 go. What's up, y'all? My name is Scratch Bassett for Scratch Bassett TV and Scratch School. How y'all doing? Welcome to another DJ-oriented video. If you're a subscriber of mine, thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed to Scratch Bassett TV or Scratch School already, please do so via the link in the description. What you're looking at here today, besides this Rain 70 mixer and yours truly, are two Technics SL-1200MK7R turntables. But they are special editions of these turntables. These are the SL-1200MK7R, which are the Red Bull BC1 special edition release of these turntables, fresh for 2020. Now, what is the Red Bull BC1? The Red Bull BC1 is an international breakdancing competition that starts regionally and nationally and then goes to one World Final Championship. I've been lucky enough to be at some of these and they're incredible. I highly recommend checking them out. This year, 2020 being 2020, they're doing an e-battle, an online version of it. It's taking place October 10th, October 17th, and October 24th, 2020. So if you're watching this video during those dates, make sure you check it out. I've also posted an unboxing video for one of these turntables, so if you'd like to watch that, the link is in the description. Today, I'm going to be focusing on the functionality of these fine turntables. So let's dive in. If you're a DJ who uses turntables, then there's a high possibility you're familiar with Technics' SL-1200 line of turntables. They are the most iconic turntables on the market. With their robust build and their reliable and accurate functionality, these became the tools of the trade as DJ culture grew from small discotheques to huge festivals. Last year, Technics released the SL-1200MK7R, the newest in their line of this series. This year, this special edition came about. Now, it should be noted that the MK7R is functionally the same as the MK7, so this video will serve as my dive into the functionality of the SL-1200MK7R. It'll just look a little fancier with this MK7R edition. So, let's start at the top here. One of the first things that you'll realize if you're an SL-1200 aficionado is that the pitch adjustment is new and different on the Mark 7 editions. It has the regular -8 to +8 slide with no click in the middle, which has been the way since the Mark 3s. It's got a reset button that locks it at 0 if you want to play records at their original spot or lock it to 0. And it's also got this ×2 multiplier, which doubles the pitch wherever you're at on the slider. So if you're at -8, it becomes -16. If you're at +4, it becomes +8, etc., etc. I found this pitch adjustment to be extremely accurate. In fact, when I checked it with my Serato digital readout, I found the pitch to be accurate to within 0.1% of the indicated hash mark on the pitch adjustment. Let's have a look at what I mean. Keep an eye on the percentage value inside that white wheel in Serato. I'm going to go to 1, 2, +3, +4, +5 and a bit, +6, +7, and +8. Going down, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, and -8. Now you may have to afford a little bit of error for my own eye lining it up, but as you can see, it's quite accurate. We're going to hit the ×2 multiplier and see how it works at those pitches. +2, +4, +6, +8, +10, +12, +14, and +16. Moving down, -2, -4, -6, -8, -10, -12, -14, and -16. Again, you'll have to excuse a little bit of my eyesight in lining it up, but as you can see, those values are very accurate to as advertised on this pitch adjustment. As a traditional 1200 user without the ×2 multiplier, I've not really, prior to these turntables, found it very valuable to go beyond -8 or +8, mostly because the records would sound too out of key or too chipmunkish. However, with Serato and key lock and being able to go much slower or much faster while preserving the key, I found it actually very valuable to be able to move beyond -8 or beyond +8. That extra 8% either way gives me a lot more flexibility and range in my mixing when I'm trying to do creative mixes. So that's about it for the pitch adjustment. Let's check out the Tonearm area. Now, as I said in my unboxing video, and as you can clearly see, it's got a gold Tonearm and a red head shell that come with the Red Bull BC1 MK7R Special Edition. That's new and different and exclusive to this. New to the 1200 Mark 7 is this Tonearm housing. It's a little bit thicker than the Tonearm housing on SL-1200 Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4 if you've got them, Mark 5 series. It's a bit wider, both the U on the outside and the rectangular oval-shaped sideways housing of the Tonearm as well. I haven't gone in and adjusted the Tonearm tension because they're brand new out of the box and they haven't been dinged up yet, so I don't have to worry about that. But it does appear to be quite solid, perhaps more solid than the others. I also haven't thrown them down a set of stairs, so who knows the long-term durability, but it does appear to be very solid. You've got the classic Technics balance weight. I've got mine set at 3.5 grams for this Ortofon OMS scratch needle, working nicely. The anti-skating goes to 3. I've never needed to go more than 3 because I actually like my anti-skating at 0. You've got height that goes to 6, just like traditional 1200s. You've got your lock, your height lock there. You've got your lever. And new to the 1200 Mark 7 series is the clamp for the Tonearm. So this new clamp actually releases when pressure is applied. So if I pull on the Tonearm after it's closed, it actually pops off and lets you play. While closed, it's very resistive to natural forces letting the Tonearm slide out of the holster. Now, I found this to be very convenient to the point that when I go back to older 1200s, I'm actually reaching for that releasable clamp and it's not going there. I'm feeling that old clamp tension. It may seem like a small feature, but it's actually been very convenient to keep them locked so that you're not knocking the Tonearm around and messing up your needles, and also be able to pull it free whenever you like. So far, so good on that. Over here, we've got the pop-up pilot light. Over here, we've got the recessed power button. 33, 45, start-stop. A black 45 adapter. Out of the box, this special edition came with this Red Bull BC1 slip mat, as well as a plastic slip, and this nice Technics Red Bull BC1 sticker for my Serato record. And that's about it for the top of the turntable. Now there's some more stuff under the hood of these. There's some brand new things on the SL-1200 Mark 7s that you should know about. So let's take off the platter to check it out. Here's the platter for the SL-1200 Mark 7. The Mark 7 has a new type of motor. It is a coreless direct drive motor. You'll notice that it's different from previous Technics turntables. This coreless design is new and exclusive to the SL-1200 Mark 7 series. Over here we've got 8 different dip switches, which have some added customizability for your, is that a word? I hope so. For your SL-1200 turntables. It's a little hard to see them on camera, so I'm going to pull them up on the screen now and you can check them out. Reading from the bottom up, we've got LED, a mysterious blank dip switch, reverse, 78, torque 1, torque 2, brake 1, and brake 2. Let me take you through a little walkthrough and show you what each of these functions does. Got a trusty little flathead screwdriver here. It's going to help me hit these dip switches. Okay, the first one starting at the bottom. If we hit the LED switch on, you get a different blue color on the strobe light, the 33, the 45, the multiplier, and the reset button. So if you like blue, go ahead. I like red, naturally, so I'm going to leave that switched off for me. I don't know what the mysterious second dip switch does. Perhaps it's to be rolled out in future updates to the SL-1200 Mark 7. I don't know. The reverse switch, I like to have this on because this adds reverse functionality to the turntable. putting the slip mat on here to make it more visible. If you hit 33 and start stop at the same time, when the reverse dip switch is engaged, the turntable starts spinning in reverse. It can also spin in reverse at 45. When you start stop, it stops. When you start it again, it will spin the other way. So every time that you want it to go in reverse, you have to hit 33 and start stop at the same time. I think maybe even 45, let's see. Yep, or 45. Start stop at the same time. So simultaneously pressing one of the speeds and the start stop button. The next time you press it, it will go forward again. So every time you got to do that. Okay, that's cool. Then we have the 78 switch. This is for all those people with 78s, which your grandparents might have, or people that want to play the records faster. I will attempt to show you that later. How you trigger that is by pushing the 33 and the 45 button at the same time. You'll see that both speed lights light up and start stop goes, and it's spinning very fast at 78 RPMs, revolutions per minute. To turn that off, you hit one of the speed switches or power it off, power it back on. More dip switches. So we'll leave 78 on. Torque 1, torque 2, brake 1, and brake 2. I had to look in the manual for these, so have a little look at how this works. I personally like my brakes and my torques. My brakes and my torques. I like my torque to be as strong as it possibly can be, and I like my brakes to be as strong as they can be. So I've played around with those and I've got them set to where I like them, which the manual says is the strongest or the highest in both of those categories, which is torque 1, torque 2 on, and brake 1 off, and brake 2 on. You can do some messing around yourself to see what the different settings are for you, but those are my favorite settings right there. And that's about how I like my dip switch settings on the SL-1200MK7 series. So, why don't we see some of these in action? I'm going to pull out my double copies of this shout out Beatman Denny Dan Dusty Fingers series, the legendary DJ series. The Dusty Fingers Orchestra new LP. It's got some great beats on it, and we're going to double it up. I need some headphones to do that, so try backwards. Pretty cool, right? It may seem like the backwards thing is a bit gimmicky, but I have really enjoyed using it in mixes, much like the minus and plus 16 that is available on these 1200s. It's nice to have a 1200 that does those things. I know there are some other models of turntables that do those things as well, but none perhaps with the reliability of the Technics 1200. So I'm going to put those away. And now I'm going to pull out my man DJ Flipouts 45, newly released. Let the Soul Pride In. A record that sounds good at many speeds. Here it is at its original speed, 45 RPM, of course. All doubles everything, you know. Maybe you're a Diggable Planets fan? 33. You do have to get used to releasing a record at 78 RPM. It's got a different type of feel to it. But that showcases a beat that you could play on 78. That one I've had a hard time finding a use for, but hey, if I'm digging for records and I find a 78, I should be allowed to play it on a turntable, shouldn't I? How you gonna listen to this Louis Armstrong record? There's kind of some hot loops in there. See? You never know what you might find, and I gotta be able to play them records, so thank you Technics for including the 78 function on your new turntables. And that about wraps it up for the functionality side of the SL-1200MK7R. It should be noted that the SL-1200MK7 model is quite a bit lighter than previous SL-1200 series turntables. That is perhaps due to the fact of this recessed area for the cables, the detachable cables, RCA and power, which is a super awesome feature. It's got a sizable portion of the body dug out. That has made them lighter. I haven't had a chance to leave the house and do a gig with these turntables since COVID hit, so I can't speak to how much lighter they feel per se and how they respond to other external forces when playing on a big stage or anything like that. They do seem to have a different resonance when I tap the needle on the record when it's idle. Slightly different frequency than when I do that on a previous SL-1200 model. That may have some difference when it comes to feedback and comes to external forces on stage. I haven't had a chance to test that out yet, so I'm going to reserve judgment for that. But they work very, very stable, and the needles are sticking in the grooves very well here. So as always, just make sure your turntables are on a solid table with as little vibration on the feet as possible, and these should function as an SL-1200 should. And that wraps my look at the SL-1200MK7R. The Red Bull BC1 Special Edition of the Technics SL-1200MK7 turntable. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, please do consider subscribing to Scratch Bassett TV and Scratch School. The links are in the description. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for more videos, and we'll be back before you know it. Peace!